We are going to be taking a look at text formatting, where you can bold your text, make it slant, change your fonts, add color, add shadow, and every other thing that's related to text formatting. We're also going to be taking a look at text animation, in which I'll be showing you how to add intro animation to your text and also outro animations to your text. Also, if you want your text to be looking like this, I'm going to show you how you can do it. Also, I'm going to be showing you text tracking, in which you can easily stick your text to any object, like this my hand, and you can see. Also in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to add text to speech, in which you can just simply write anything down. You can add
different voiceovers,
just like this. And finally, if you have always been looking for a way to subtitle your videos automatically without you writing it manually, I'm going to be showing you in this video how you can automatically subtitle all your videos. So without further ado, let's dive right in. All right, so we are on our Capcut timeline right now. So the first thing we want to do is to bring in the videos that we'll be using for this tutorial. So now we have these videos on our timeline now, right now. So what I'm simply going to do on the preview plane, so I'm going to drag in these videos to the timeline, and as you can see, they are now on the timeline. So as you can see, this video is not magnetizing, it's not snapping to each other automatically. What I'm simply going to do is to go ahead and turn on the main track magnet, and you can see it is now magnetized. Now what we simply have to do is to start with the basics. So if you come over here to the text icon, so once you click on the text icon, so we have default one right here. So the default text, if you hover on it, you can see it's currently showing on the preview pane right now. So if we click on it, we click on add to track, it is now added to our track. Okay, we can adjust the length of the text. Maybe you want it to be throughout the video, you can adjust the length just over on the end part, and you can drag it. Okay, you can move your text. Okay, you click on the middle and drag it to move it around. Okay, that is that. Then you can also come over to the screen. You click on it first, then you come over to the screen and you can adjust wherever you want your text to be. You can come over to the edges and adjust your text. You can come over to the edges. If you want it to be showing right here, you can just adjust it to be showing right here. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is the formatting. So if you want to format your text, meaning you want to bold it, or you want to change the font, or you want to make it in a slant position, or you want to make it a capital letter all through, or you want to make it a small letter all through, you want to change the color, you want to change anything you want to change, then what we simply have to do is simple. You just click on your text. Okay, then you can come over to this channel right here. You'll see this channel will open up. We have the basics, we have the bubble, and we have the effects. Okay, we have animation up here, we have tracking, we have text to speech. I'm going to explain every single one of these right here in this video. We are going to practicalize and see how it's going to turn out. Now, the basics, starting with the basics. So we have the fonts. You can easily change your fonts right here. You can, I love this Oliver right here if I want to choose white. So, but for yellow background, what actually goes with yellow is black. And also we have the font size right here. So you can increase the font size right here. Okay, you can increase and decrease that. You can, change it right here easily. Okay, and you can also, drag it on the screen to change the size. Okay, now we have the formatting option. Normally, if you have used Microsoft Word before, so you know all this, so you can bold your text. Okay, if it is not bold yet, if you are using some maybe like a text that is not that bold, we can bold it. Okay, as you can see, it is now bold if you check very well. But I'm going to underline your text. You can make it in a slant position. You can do all that. Okay, you can do all that. Then you can change the case, uppercase, lowercase, than this one that we are currently using. Then you can change the color right here. Okay, you can change the color to red, black. As you can see, this is amazing. So I'm going to leave it at that black. So you can actually choose any color you want right here. So these are all you can do. You can align your text. Okay, if there are 2 or more paragraphs in your text, this will actually make sense to you. Now we have some preset styles you can use. These are the styles that Capcut has. There are some templates that you can use to if you don't want to be editing your text. So you can see when we choose this one, these are different text templates you can use, but me, I prefer to go with what we are using before. So I'm just going to drag this down here. So the next thing we have is the opacity. So we have the blend right here. So this blend, what it actually does, if you want your text to blend with the background, so that is what this is for. Maybe I want my text to, blend a little bit. So as you can see, so it's about the transparency right here. So the more you drag it down, the more transparent your text will be until it is not visible anymore. So if you want it to, to come out fully, as you can see. So for example, if I want to put it on this person's and I want it to blend in, maybe this can work for a watermark. If you want a watermark on your video, you can, and you don't want it to be distracting your audience, so you can easily, scale it through. Just put it like that. And now you can do what? You can easily blend it. Just if it's hiding right here, just, click on this small drop down, then it will show itself. As you can see, you have, done a watermark easily. The next thing we have here is the stroke. Okay, so let's get this back. Okay, so we have the stroke right here. If you click on this stroke, it's going to add outline to your text. Okay, now you can choose the color of your outline. Normally white outline always goes with black or red. Okay, that red is not really that. Okay, so you can change the color right here depending on what you want. Okay, so now that is that about that one. Okay, let's just go back to white. I'm going to change the color of the text back to white. I want to achieve something right here, so let me just change it back to white. I'm going to change it back to white, and I'm going to come down to stroke, because black stroke actually goes well with white. So come down here. As you can see, this is now looking amazing. Okay, so now you can adjust your stroke. Click on this expand button. You can adjust the thickness. As you can see, that is that about that. Then we can add the background also to your text. This is how it will look like. You can change it anyhow you want. You can change the color of your background. You can change the color. You can reduce the opacity. Okay, you can reduce the opacity. Then you can make it rounded. You can extend the height. You can extend the width. So these are all the things you can do for the for your background. Another thing we have is the glue. You can make your text to be glowing, but you have to to make this effect come out very well, you have to turn off your background first. Then you can now click on this glow, and as you can see, our text is now glowing. So we can adjust the intensity to make it much more glowy. We can change the color, maybe change it to red or to yellow, so to make it come out. As you can see, there's this glowing stuff in the background. Okay, so that is how you make your text glow. So if you adjust the intensity, so as you can see, then you can make the range much more. As you can see, this is amazing. So you can choose red. See this, you can see this is amazing. Then you can also add shadow. Let's turn this off. You can add shadow to your text. This is also amazing. Okay, add shadow to your text. You can increase the opacity. You can increase the blurriness of your text. You can adjust the location, but don't want it to be too much. You can adjust that. You can change the angle you want it to be. You can change the angle right here. Then also we have the curve. So the curve is just for you to as you can see what it has done to the text right here. So you can place it on top of the person's head. Okay, so that is that about the curve. Okay, now we are done with the basics of text formatting. You can always play your hands on, depending on the video and depending on the background you have, is what you actually determine the color of your text and also the formatting that you will use for the particular text. Note that text has the power to shift your audience attention and to make emphasis on a particular point that you are making. So whatever you are doing, don't just throw in and throw out text around in your videos. Make sure it is passing the right message and making the right emphasis on your video so that you won't get your audience distracted. Now, up next, we have what we call the bubble right here. We have the bubble. These are just some animations. If you want someone to, maybe like this person is talking, maybe the person is talking and you want them to, you want to show that the person is talking and the person is not really talking or saying it out, or maybe even they are saying it out. You can come to these bubbles and choose anyone you want right here. You can choose anyone you want right here. Then you can adjust it for them to know that this is the person that is talking, something like that. For example, as you can see. So then you can change your text. Come back to basics and change your text. Say, I am confused. So if I play this video right now, you can see what's happening. Said he's confused. Do you understand? It is passing a message whereas the person is not even talking. So that is that about the bubble. So you can use any bubble effect you want. Now we have the effects. Okay, the effects are just another ordinary arts. As you can see, we have arts there. So you can use any of these on your videos. They are kind of a preset. If I turn the bubble off, if you want to turn this bubble off, just come over here to this none, and you can see our text has returned to the normal position. Then you can see it is now slanted. If you want to easily change this back to the normal position, just come back to the position and size. Then you can see this rotate right here. This rotates right here. So you can easily turn it back to 0 so that it will, you will know that this is now in the center. Okay, or you can just use this button actually, but you can see if you use this button, just focus on this white showing on top of the person's head. Focus on the white. Once it starts 0 degree, then you release. That is done. Then we want to come back to the effects. Then you can select any effect you want here and make a use of it, and you can see this is the effect right here. Okay, so let's go back. Let's turn this off again. So okay, so now that we have these, we can easily come to the animation. This is the amazing part that you've been waiting for. So this will make your text, you can make your text come in amazingly. You can make it go out amazingly. You can make it do some stuff while it is currently on the screen so that you keep your audience entertained easily. So now the first thing you want to take note here, we have the in, we have out, and we have loop. So what the in actually does is the intro animation. It's like an intro animation. So it will come in when your text is coming in. This is how it will be doing. For example, if I select this one right here, okay, and you can see this. All right, you can see how it came through. So let me select this one. You can see how it came through. So you can select any of these texts. You can see that. 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 So that is how to bring in, text animations. Okay. It's very, very simple to go about. Then we have the outro also. So if you want your text to, come out. Okay. So now, before we go to the outro, if you are currently getting value from this video, don't forget to leave a like on the video. And also, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop it in the comment section. I'm going to respond to all your comments in the comment section. So once you select any of these effects that you want, okay, you select any effect of this that you want, you will notice there is some whitish stuff right here. This is showing you that there is an intro animation on this text. Now, if you want to adjust the length at which your text is coming in, you come over here. This is where you adjust. You can see it's currently at 0.5 seconds. That means this text will be coming in at the rate of 0.5 seconds. But if I adjust it a little bit forward, you can see now how it's coming in. It will be much more slower. So the more longer, the more slower it will come in. Okay, the more it's short, the more lesser it will come in. Okay, so now you have that. You can use any of this. You can see you can use any of this animation for it to come in like that. Then another thing we want to look at is the outro. So if you go ahead to the outro right now and select any outro, your audio, your text actually comes in like this. For example, it comes in like this. It's confused, then it goes out like that. As you can see, it goes out like that. For example, let me play it again so that you can see properly. I'm confused, then it goes out like that. So now what you want to simply do now, if you want to edit this outro, all you will simply have to do is just to come down to come to animation. Then we have this outro right here. So the same way we explained, the same thing we explained about the intro. So it's what actually also applies. It's what applies also to the outro. So you can easily, test run the length of your outro animation. Now we have the loop. You see, this loop will stay in the middle. Okay, so this is what the loop actually means is that this is what your text will be doing on screen while it is on screen. Okay, for example, if you have a long text right here, maybe you actually write a long text and you want people don't just want it to stand there like that. Okay, now what loop actually does is to make your text come out and to make your text keep on performing some animation while it is on screen. So we can actually choose from any of these. For example, if I choose shake, as you can see, the text is shaking. So you can adjust the speed right here. It's shaking very, very fast. If we adjust the speed, you can see it is shaking small. Do you understand? So you can see. So we can actually, use this wobble. You can see that you can place it on his head so that people, they get to understand more and feel more entertained. As you can see what it's doing. So we have a lot of them that you can use. Okay. You can see that. You can see what it's doing. So that is how these you can see. I love this one actually. I love this one. And so this is how you can easily, so this is how you can easily animate your text. You can, make them come in like this. So you can make them come in. I'm confused. Then I'm confused. Then, it keeps on animating while it's still on the screen. Then, later on, once it reach destination, let me just, drag it here like this. And it goes out. As you can see, confused, and it goes out like that. So that is that about the in and outro animation of the text. Now we have the tracking. We have text tracking. This is one of the most amazing feature I love about Capcut. Okay, you can actually track any object's movement, okay, easily with this text tracking. So what this tracking actually does is that you can actually track any motion. You can actually track any object. Maybe I want to track this particular hand movement. When it is moving, I want the text to be moving with it. you can actually track it. So okay, there will be a full tutorial on that I'll be doing, but I just want to demonstrate it for you guys, for you to see how it is working. Okay, now for example, I'm going to show you how this actually works. For example, so let me extend this a little bit. So if you want to track, let's say I want to track this person's hand movement. Okay, so this hand movement, I want the text to stick to this person's hand. Then what I'm simply going to do is to come over to motion track. Then you can see we have both. We have this yellow button right here. Okay, this is actually indicating the object that you want to track is what you actually to actually go about. Then you can drag it over it to make it fit like that. Now you can, if you see, we have scale follow tracking object and we have follow distance follow tracking object. So if you actually turn this on, okay, so this will make make it track your object. The more it gets bigger, the more your text also gets bigger. It can distort your text. Okay, but if we track this distance will just follow the tracking object wherever it's going. Okay, so we want to turn this off right here. Okay, now we can actually track the motion of this text, right? So you want to uncheck this one also for you to first see the performance. Now when you want to start tracking, then you just click on, maybe let me just delete this, for example. Let me just delete this first. I want to make use of this text alone first. So, and that is that. We have the tracking. Come over to tracking. Then I'm going to click on, you can place your playhead right in the first part where you want it to start. Let me just off the animation so that you can see properly. Click off. Then I'm going to drag it to where I want it to start tracking. Now I'm going to track this particular hand right here. So click on tracking, then make it so that it can track only the hand. Then I'm going to click on start tracking. Then what Capcut is going to do is going to track this particular object front, through and forth. Okay, it's going to track it through and forth. So now it's completed the tracking. So if we just check it right now, you can see it's it's tracked it a little bit, but it did not follow the tracking object because we did not turn this on. So that is why it's remained there. So it will track the object as long as it is still on the screen. Do you understand? And as you can see, it was tracking it very see this particular stage. So it was tracking your text. So that's that about text formatting and everything you need to know about text formatting. Now we have text to speech. So you can actually select any voice. Okay, you can actually select any voice to talk as read this particular content.
Confused.
As you can see, did you hear that? So
I'm confused.
So if you want to maybe like make an AI content where you don't want to talk,
I'm confused.
you can use any of these sounds to actually make them translate whatever you have written down. So this is another way to create video without you even talking inside the video. So that is for the text to speech. Now remember that I said we come to this auto caption right here. So if you want to auto caption all your, maybe like you want to auto subtitle all your videos, okay, so all you simply want to do is just to click on this English, then you can say clear current caption. If there's a caption currently there, then you click on create. Okay, now you can see it said no speech recognized because there is nothing here. There's nothing there currently. We have no speech currently. I'm going to add a clip that we have me talking there so that you can see how it will subtitle it for me automatically. So now I have imported another video of me talking.
In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the
This is what
interface
I
of
want
Capcut.
This is what I want to actually subtitle. I want to make it subtitle. So what I'm simply going to do is just to come over to the text icon right here, to this text icon, then come to auto caption and click on create. Okay, now it will start creating the auto captions. Now, as you can see, it said speech recognized. So if I play it right now, you can see it's now showing. You can see it has subtitled this, and automatically subtitled it. It will come.
In this video, I'm going to be walking you through.
Now, another thing that it amazed me is that you can actually edit all of your subtitles all together at once. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So if you come over here, you can actually you see apply to all. Now if you want to make some edits, you want to make some formatting to this particular text right now, if I drag this text up here, so you see that automatically in this video also has been dragged. Okay, so if I click on it right now and I drag it, maybe I drag it down right here and I make it smaller, every edit that I'm making, as long as this apply to all is still ticked, if I click on A, it's also there. As you can see, it is also there. So if you want to edit individual clip, maybe individual text, you understand, you want to make formatting to the individual text, then you want to click on this apply, or you want to untick it, then whatever you do to this, it will not affect the second one, as you can see. So Ctrl Z to go back. Okay, so now also you can easily edit all your captions. If you come to the captions right here, you can see here, so you can easily edit them maybe if it is not correct, because you have to fit it. Sometimes it's a computer, it's an AI, so sometimes the machine might make mistake, and or maybe it does not understand your accent, so it might actually interpret what you are saying into something else. So what you simply want to do is to instruct it that this is not what I want. Okay, you can change it here. Okay, maybe like in this particular video, you can change it to whatever you want. Okay, now you can also extend the level of what you want. You can change anything right here. Okay, now you can come back to your text and do whatever you want to do. Change the color of your text, change anything you want to change in your text. You can change the fonts, and we have explained all that before, right? So I'm not going to be going back to that. So for example, if I change this, and this is how my video will look like. Maybe I change it to this. Now you can see
in this video, I'm going to be walking you through the.
Now you can see another thing again is that when you make your text come out, you want to make it come out bigger, and it's filling the screen right now. All you can simply do is just to go to this caption right here, then click on anywhere you want to separate it. Okay, I'm going to be working, then you click on enter, and it's going to break it down for you. So maybe like to the interface of Capcut, as you can see. So if you play it right now,
in this video, I'm going to be walking you through the interface of Capcut.
You can see that now there is an error here. I said through the, so you can see it said to. I'm going to include through there. Now you can see that if I play it right now, you see how it looks like.
In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the interface of Capcut.
You can see that is now looking amazing. So the next thing I want to show you is that you can make your subtitles come out amazing by putting background. Okay, you can put a background right here. If I put background, you can see how it looks like.
Walking you through the interface of Capcut.
So you can see that this is not really turning a little bit. So I can extend that.
You through the interface of Capcut.
So that is that about that one. Then we can make the opacity of the background to to be like this. You can see that's amazing. Then we can also change this. We can change this. We can make it a round edge. So all of these things, these are things you can customize and find your way through about it. Okay, so that is that about everything you need to know about text. Everything you need to know about text in Capcut. Now there are some other tips and tricks that you can still do with Capcut, and in the next lesson I'm going to be showing you these tricks step by step. In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to remove any video background and replace them with beautiful ones just like this, or even add that particular video to your gaming video or your tutorial videos step by step. Alright, so the first thing we need is the video that we want to remove its background. So I'm just going to use this video currently right now. So I'm going to drag it into the timeline. Now we have this video, we have a background right here. To remove the background of this video, what I'm simply going to do is just come over to this cutout section. Then I want to click on this auto cut right here. As you can see, it says only human figures can be cut out. So with this auto cut out, you can cut out human figures. However, if you have any other videos with any other object, then you want to use chroma key with a green screen background. If you want to learn how to remove any object with a green screen background, then type in green screen in the comment section and I'm going to create a separate tutorial on that. So what you simply want to do right now is just to click on auto cut, and as you can see, you now have a video without a background. Now to add any other video background of our choice, we can simply import it and download it from Google. You can download it anywhere, any video that you have that you want to use. Maybe it's your video tutorial or your gaming tutorial, then you want to import them here that you have screen recorded. But I'm going to be changing the video background in this, and I'm going to be using Capcut library. So you also want to get down to this library right here, and you can see we have green screen right here. We can add a green screen. Okay, so we have the main library that we have trending. We have all these backgrounds right here that we can use. So we can use this background right here. Now to use any background, just drag it down to the timeline right here. Now we have this background that we want to use. To make this video, our video on top of this background, what we simply have to do is just to drag this video up of it, and you can see we now have the video on top of the background. Now we can do this for any of these backgrounds that is here and change our background. It's just very super simple. Also, you can also adjust the video. If you want to adjust the video, maybe it's a gaming video and you don't want the image to be as full on this screen as it is currently, then you can adjust it. You can move the video, just tap on it and you can move it anywhere on the screen. Now you want to add on to the basic and you can adjust the scale of it and place it anywhere, any angle you want to place it. Whether it's a tutorial that you are explaining a lot of things on the screen, you can do so easily. Or you want to make it max, you can zoom it out like this, and it depends on you. It depends on the kind of video that you are using this video for. If you got to follow from this video, don't forget to hit on the like button and also make sure you subscribe to the channel. I remain the mayor of Mayor Concept, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Now it is very super easy to remove green screen from any videos or any effect that you want to apply to your videos. For example, if I have this video right now, this is my main video. Now I want to add a subscribe button to it. All these effects, you can find them on pexels.com or pixabay.com. Now if I drag this effect right now, as you can see, it has a green screen which is filling up the screen, and I want this to just be showing underneath my video. Now the simple way to go about this is just to click on the video, then you come over to this cutout section right here. Now you see a chroma key feature. Now you click on this chroma key easily, and then you can see this color picker. Now this color picker, as you can see what they said here, they said first pick the color of the screen, then adjust the intensity. Now we want to pick out this unwanted color, this green color that we don't want out of the video. Now I can click on this color picker right now and select the green part that I don't want. As you can see, it has selected the green part. Now I can adjust the intensity till the green is no longer showing on the screen. Now I can adjust it a little bit like that. Then I can add the shadow also a little bit, not too much. Drag it a little bit for you to confirm whether the green screen has totally faded away. Now that we have this particular video right now, I can simply go ahead and move it to any part I want on the screen. I can drag it down a little bit. I can drag it anywhere I want on the screen. Now if I play this right now, the video comes in and it just comes in below this particular video right now and it displays like that. Now this same effect can be applied to any video with green screen. Just follow the same step that I've done with this particular video effect and you get the same effect. I remain the mayor of Mayor Concept, and I'll see you in the next lesson. I'm going to be showing you how you can blow out any video background just like this in Capcut piece. Blowing out your video background is an amazing trick, and it's just like applying autofocus on expensive camera lenses. Now, if you're able to get this right, you'll be able to blur out unattractive backgrounds that you might have, or if your background is kind of noisy and can also cause distractions to your audience, you can easily blur them out, and this will make them focus more on you while you're talking on screen. So without further ado, let's dive right in. First, I'm going to import the video that we are going to be using for this tutorial. Then I'm going to drag it onto the timeline. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description that you can use to download this video later on so that you can try your hands out on it. So now that we have the video on the timeline, what I'm simply going to do is to duplicate this particular video. And what I'm going to simply do is just to right click on the video and click on copy, then come over here and click on paste. I right click again and click on paste. Now, as you can see, we have 2 of this video right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make sure the video is on overlay. You can see this. So the video will be like this normally, but you want to drag it on top and make it on the overlay of this particular main video. So this is our main video and this is our overlaid video. So now the next thing we are going to do right now is to go ahead and disable this clip for now. So you want to press V to disable the clip for now. So as you can see, we have disabled it so that we can see the effect that will be adding to this particular clip right here. Click on the main clip, then we'll go ahead to effects right here. Then you are going to see this blur effect. So if you can't find it at the top, just you can search for blur and it is going to bring it out. So any blur that you choose is okay. You just drag this particular blur effect onto this video right here. And as you can see, once we added the blur effect, it said effect added right here. Now you can adjust the intensity of your blur. The more the intensity, the more blurred out your video will look like. Now I'm going to recommend you put this video at 40. You want to put the blur at 40. Now it's going to later on look amazing. All right. So now we've seen our blur. So the next thing you want to do is to come over to this clip again and type in V again so that it can bring out your clip once again. Now what you want to do for this overlay clip is to remove the background. Now to do that, just go ahead to this basics right here. You're going to see cutouts beside it. So we want to click on auto cutout and it's going to cut out video for us. As you can see, currently it is processing. So it is done auto cutting, and as you can see, once it is done auto cutting, if I play the video, if I drag my playhead, you can see the background is now blurred. What I'm simply going to do is just to come over to this export button right here, and I'm just going to name the video, let's say blurred video. Now what I'm simply going to do is just to make sure the resolution is in 4K. Okay, then I'm going to click on export right now. Alright, so the first thing we need is the video that wants to be color grading, and I have these 3 videos right here of different watermelons right here. To get these videos, just head on to pexels.com and search watermelon. You get these videos easily so that you can practice on it later on. Now I'm going to drag one of these videos right here for us to use and color grade. Now there are 3 different levels of color grading, or let me just say 3 different parts. So if you click on this adjustment layer right here, so these are the 3 different layer. So we have the basic, we have the HSL, and we have the curves. Now if you are going with the basics, it means that you want to edit the video all through. You are not specifying any, you are just adjusting the color in general. Now HSL is much more specific. As you can see, we have different colors aligned in which you can edit each and individual colors differently. Now we have the curve also to, this is to increase the brightness or the intensity of each and individual colors. Okay, we have the green, we have the blue right here. These are the major ones. We have the brightness, then we have red, green, and blue. So I'm going to be showing you guys with this particular video, the basic one. We can fully color grade our video with just the basic, and also we can fully color grade our video with just the HSL. However, some videos might require both or even the three of these particular parts. So I'm going to show you guys the basics and the HSL and the curves so that you can know what they stand for, and now you can use them to color grade any video to make it look much more better. Now, before we get started, I must let you know that I'm not a professional color grader. However, in this video, I'm just going to be showing you the basics of color grading, and if you want to do color grading yourself for your videos, you don't want to hire a professional color grader, then this video is perfect for you, as I'll be showing you the basics tools you need to color grade your video on Capcut PC. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to duplicate this particular clip. So I'm just going to click on copy, then right click again and click on paste. So now the main thing I'm doing this is for us to see and compare our results as we are going on. So this is the particular clip that I'm going to be color grading with just the basic tools. So I'm just going to go to the adjustment section right here, and once you are on the adjustment section, you can come down a little bit. We have different tools that you can use to color grade your videos. Now, it is not compulsory for you to tamper with every of these tools, as I'm going to be explaining each and every one of them for you and what they stand for. So you can use the temperature to determine whether you want your video to be cooler or for it to be warmer. As you can see, when I dragged it down a little bit, it turns to be cooler, and when I drag it up, it turns to be warmer. Now, before we go ahead, we must understand that you can use color grading to actually pass message to your audience that are watching your video. So for example, if you are using a warmer version of this, you are indicating that this particular plate, maybe it is placed outside in the sun, but if you turn it down, you can see it looks like it is inside with enough lighting with cooler features. So I love to go with this cooler one because it looks way cooler. Now the next thing we have here is the hue, and this hue is just to determine whether you want your video to be green or you want it to be purple. Now, I love to, adjust my videos to be a little bit just like maybe like 10 towards the purple. It looks much more cooler. Now, if we check this right now, this is the previous video and this is what we have right now. Not too much, nothing much is going on right now. Now we have the saturation. Now, the saturation is just to make every color in the video to become more vibrant. Every color in this video, we have red color here, we have green, we have white, we have every color in this video will become more vibrant. If I increase these, as you can see, every color has become more vibrant. Notice this, it has become more vibrant. Every of these has become more vibrant. If I dial it down, it's come to the gray scale level, which is no color. And this is actually passing a message also. For example, if you are in a sad or emotional state, you can actually use this grayscale video to express that to your audience. However, if you are currently energetic, so the more energetic you are, or maybe you want a much more cooler video, then you want to use a vibrant video with vibrant colors. Okay, so now I'm just going to increase this a little bit, so you don't want to go too much, okay, because if you go too much it will look unrealistic. So you would just want to dial it down a little bit, so it looks somewhere around 20. Okay, so that looks way more cooler. Now we want to come down to the brightness. Now it is not compulsory, like I said earlier, for you to increase or decrease anything. If you see that the adjustments you are making is not making any improvements in your video, then you want to abandon that particular one. Now the brightness is just for videos that are not brightened enough, like you have video that the lighting is not enough, then you can use the brightness to increase the brightness of the video. Or maybe if the lightning is too much, you can turn down the brightness a little bit. And as you can see for this video, the brightness is normal, so I can leave this as it is, or I would just dial the brightness down a little bit down. And as you can see, this is now making much more sense. Now, if we have the contrast also, the contrast is just to increase the darkness of the video while increasing the color also. So if we increase it now, you can see we increase the color and also the darkness, or let me say the shadow of the video also increased. Now, if you dial it down, you can see the shadow completely disappeared while the video has faded, the color of the video has faded. So we have the highlight. The highlight is to, highlight your video. That is normal. So we can see what it does. So it's, give more lightning to your video, and I don't need more lightning currently. I'm just going to dial that down a little bit. So now we have the shadow also here. The shadow, if you increase the shadow, this means that the shadow disappears. So if you dial it down, it means it adds more shadow to your video. So I'm just going to leave the shadow alone because I already have enough shadow already. So the illumination is to add lightning to the vibrant part of your video. The places that the colors are already vibrant, it will add much more color to it. So if you dial it down, that's where the color will come out, and if you dial it up, it will just increase the lightning. Okay, that's just illuminating the whole thing. Now I'm just going to dial it down, okay, to give it much more realistic and yummy look. And as you can see, this is now way much better. If you check it right now, see, this looks on LV and it looks like it doesn't have any color. Now if you drag it over to the one that we have edited, this look much more appetizing, and you just want to grab one like this inside the video and start munching on it. Now we have another options right here. These options, I don't really use them too much, but let me just explain what they stand for. So the sharpening is just to sharpen the edges of your video. As you can see, if we increase it to the maximum, you can see we have the sharpened edges. The edges are sharpened too much, but if you just you can just put it somewhere like 2 to make your edges like a little bit sharpened. Now we have the particles also. Particles, you can see what it does. So I don't really use these particles. Okay, so we have the fade to make your video fade if you want it to fade. Now we have the vignette also if you want to create a white shadow around your video, or you want to create a black shadow around your video. I don't use any of these. I only use this sharpen and just. So now we have the final transformation. If you play this right now, we have, this is the previous video, as you can see, with no color grading at all. Now this is what we have right now. As you can see, this looks so much amazing. Now you can see that with what we have here already, we have already gotten our results. You don't need to go ahead to HSL or curves anymore once you've gotten your desired results. Okay, so I'm going to use another video to explain the HSL right now. I'm just going to delete this one right now, and I'm going to drag in this one right now, because this has a whole lot of colors in it. Now if I use HSL, I'll be able to select individual clips and explain it to you guys much more better. So if you come over to adjustment layer right here, well, let me just duplicate this first so that we can contrast what we are doing. So now I'm just going to be editing this first one right here. I come over to the adjustment layer. We have this normal basics right here. So I don't want to use the basics to edit it. I want to use the HSL. Now, if we need to use the basics, I will just come over to it back again. So we have the HSL right here. So all these colors, okay, stands for individual colors in this video. We have red, we have yellow, we have blue background, we have green, okay, we have a little green, we have some brown, some brownish color right here, a little bit yellow. Now every of these you can adjust them and give them much more realistic look for them to have the main color that they are supposed to have. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just to edit the red in this color. If I actually drag this up and down, you see, just note the part that is changing in the video. You can see it is the only red in the video that is being affected. The part that are red are the only part that are being affected. Now I'm just going to leave this in the middle, because if we drag it down, it looks unrealistic. If we drag it up, it looks unrealistic. So the middle is the perfect place for this particular one. Now the saturation is just to increase the color, like we explained earlier in the basics. So it's just to increase the red color to apply more reddish look to it. Now as you can see, we now have, if you dial it down, that's gray. If you dial it up, you can see the red is looking much more cooler right here. So the brightness, now we want to adjust the brightness of the red in this particular video. So if we increase the brightness, you can see it looks unrealistic, but if we drag it down, it looks way more cooler. Like the red is now coming out a lot. Now this is what we have for that. Let's move on to the yellow. Now if we drag it this up and down, you can see the part that is affecting in this video. Okay, so we need to adjust this a little bit. Just this is actually up to you. You have to figure out what actually looks best for your videos, right? But I'm just you just have to just check and see what looks realistic or not. So I'm just going to increase this a little bit like that. Then I'm going to increase the saturation. Let me just check the saturation. This is no go area, so the saturation will make the color of the video to come out much more. Then you can dial the brightness down or you increase it. Let me just check it out. Okay, it's better to increase the brightness of yellow, or let me just decrease it a little bit like that. Now moving on to the main yellow. So let us check the one that is still affecting the yellow in this video. So as you can see, it's also affecting the green in this video. It's affecting the green and the yellow. So I'm just going to put it in the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to put it like that. Then I'm going to add more saturations. So if I'm going to add more saturations to it, then I'm going to increase the brightness or decrease the brightness. Then I'm just going to, nothing much is actually going on with this particular one. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Now I'm going to move on to the green part, and this green part are this particular one and the one right here. If I move it down, you can see they are changing a little bit. They are changing a little bit. So if I drag it down, this looks much more realistic and look much more green. So I'm just going to leave it here. So the saturation also, as you can see, it looks much more green right here. The brightness, so it looks way more cooler right here. So now we are going to the ocean. So if you see right here, just check the background. You can see the background is now changing. The background is changing. So let me just to make the ocean much more blue. So let the saturation come out a little bit. And I'm going to adjust the brightness to for it to become much more darker, so that it can be much more realistic. Now we are going to the main turquoise blue. So we want to make it much more blue. I'm just going to leave it here. I'm going to increase the saturation. Then I'm going to dial down the brightness also. As you can see, as we are dialing down the brightness of these are coming out way much more. So it's coming out way much more as we are dialing down the brightness of it. Okay, it makes much more sense. Now let us compare with the previous one. As you can see, this red is not reddish enough. All this ocean is not that blue, and you can see right now this is what we have right now. Isn't this cool? This is so amazing. And that is that we don't have any of these here. If you see, you can see there's nothing much changing there, and this one also there's nothing much changing. So we're just going to leave them as it sits. Now we can see that we have the final transformation right here. So this is the previous video, and you can see how it looks like. Then this is when we are done color grading. So it looks way much more brighter and beautiful. Now the next thing we have is the curve, and I'm just going to let me just bring in another video so that you can see and let us demonstrate with it. Like I said, it is not enough for some video to use curve actually, but it is still needed in some videos. I've used this 1 or 2 times before. So you can click on it and click on adjustment, then come over to curves. So this curve is this particular one is just to increase the brightness of your video. As you can see, if you dial it down, it decreases the brightness. So it depends on what you want. If you come down to the red parts, okay, you want to adjust the red part also. So as you can see, the red in the video is coming down. If you turn it up, it is making the whole video to be red. Like, it affects the whole video. That's just what this does. It affects the whole video. If you come down to the green parts, okay, and we just increase and decrease the green, you can see the green on this video is making much more sense here. Now if you come to the blue and we increase the blue, so the main thing about this particular curve is that it affects the whole video. So that's just it. You can't really use curve to properly color grade your videos. Okay, if you want something to affect all the video that you are doing, then you can use curve actually. So what I really love is just the HSL and the basics, because they just bring out your videos. They bring it out amazingly. If you have gotten value from this video, please go ahead and leave a like on the video, and also make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss out on valuable videos just like this. I remain the mayor of Mayor Concept, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right, so we have our beautiful timeline right here. So the first thing we want to do is to have our screenshots. So I'm going to leave this in the description that you can download later on and try your hands out on it. Also, once you have your screenshots ready, you want to import it to the timeline. So then the next thing we are going to simply do is to come over to this media right here. Make sure you have clicked on media. Then you can come over to this library right here. We want to import the background I will be using for this particular video as you've seen it before. So you're going to scroll down a little bit, and this is the particular one that I used. Just drag it down to the timeline and we have the canvas set up right now. So you want to come back to media, click on this local again, then you want to drag down your screenshots right over this image right here. So now the next thing we're going to do is to crop our screenshot. To do that, just click on the screenshot right here and click on this crop icon right here. So once you click on the crop icon, then you crop out the part that you don't need. I'm going to crop out this part right here, then I'm going to click on confirm, and now as you can see, we now have this amazing screenshot right here. Now we want to adjust it a little bit. So you want to make sure you go to the edges like this to adjust it. So you can adjust it down a little bit. Now we have our screenshot ready. So the next thing we want to do is just to adjust this a little bit so that it can go through with the timeline. And now the next thing we want to do is to add our highlight. Okay, now to do this, all you have to simply do is to go ahead to text right here, then click on default text, drag the default text right over on top of the text. Then you want to go ahead and click on it, then edit it and type in capital letter I. Now as you can see, we cannot see it currently, so what you simply have to do is very simple. Just come over to color here and put it in a color yellow, because yellow actually comes out as an highlight much more better. Okay, just come over to the text once again on the screen, click on it. As you can see, this rotate button just to rotate your text a little bit to the 90-degree. As you can see on top, we have the 90 minus 90 degree showing. Or if you can't get it right, you can simply come to the position right here, and this rotate, you can set it to be at the angle 90-degree. Now it's at 90-degree. Now the next thing we want to do is just to adjust the position and the size of this. So we want to turn off this uniform scale so that we can be able to adjust it as we want. Now I want to click on this scale width, so we want to make the width a little thicker, then the height also a little longer. Now I want to drag it to the exact position that we want it to come in at, then we want to make it cover everything, then adjust the scale and the width also a little bit. Now for the magic to happen, all we simply have to do is just to go over to this opacity, drag it down all the way down to 30%, all the way down to 30%. And now as you can see, it is barely showing right now. The text is now showing underneath it. Now the next thing we want to do is to drag our text to the end of the screenshot timeline. So let us make this also a little bit further. Then we want to drag this a little bit further. Now that we have this right now, we have our highlight on the text. You can make this any color. You can make it green, red, or yellow, any color that that this black text will actually come out. And we are going to test run each and every of this color in an amazing way very soon. So now what we have to simply do now is to add an animation. We want to see the coming in effect and the coming out effect. So we want to simply go ahead to this animation right here. Now the animation that actually goes well with this that I have tested out earlier, so we'll come over to this in right here, and we can see we have showing left. Normally, we have rotated this particular text right here. Is a text that we are using and manipulating. So we want to choose this show down, and you can see now you can adjust the rate at which it is coming in. As you can see, the more longer, the more you want it to be, as slow as you want, you can adjust that. But now I'll be making it a little faster. Okay, that is very cool. If I play this now, right now, let me just play it. You can see that is that. So if I want to play with this, I can actually come over here and make this screenshot also pop in before the animation will go into it. So I'm going to click on the in, make the animation also come in a little bit so that you can see that. So make it a little faster, and that is that. So if I play it right now, the animation comes in and the effect, the highlight effect actually comes in after that also. So we want to highlight all these ones also. We want to highlight this, we want to highlight this, we want to highlight this, and we want to highlight this. So and we don't want this to leave it. We want to make sure this is still there until we finish what we are doing. So what we're simply going to do is just to click on this and click on right click on it, then click on copy, then click on right click on it again and click on paste. Now as you can see, we now have double of that. So once it reaches this particular one right here, just drag this down a little bit, drag it down. Now we have on our timeline, so if you text it right now, this also comes in. Okay, now it is not perfect yet. Okay, so we want to adjust this, come down to position and size, then we want to adjust the scale width for it to cover everything up. Want to adjust this, then want to adjust the height also for it to cover everything that we are doing right here. And as you can see, this has covered everything that we want. So if I play it again right now, that comes in and this also comes in. Perfect. No, so now that we have this coming in like this, we want to make it come, this particular one to come over to every other text that is here. We want to make it highlight every other one. Also, at the same time changing the colors. So what we simply have to do is to use what we call the keyframe animation. This particular diamond icon that is here represents keyframes. Okay, we can use this particular keyframe to animate any object and any stickers, any text, even you can use it to create a cinematic appearance, to add a zoom in and zoom out effect to your videos. So if you guys want to learn more about keyframe, type in keyframe in the comment section and I'll create a separate video on keyframe that will be a detailed one. Now for us to go back to what we want to do, so now you just drag the playhead to the position where we want to add our keyframe. Now what we are simply going to do is to add our keyframe to the color. So you can see here right here saying add keyframe, and once we add that keyframe to the color, as you can see, it is now showing this particular white diamond icon on the text. This means that we have added the keyframe to it. Now also you can see that this particular icon has changed to turquoise blue, so that means we have added the keyframe for the color. Then you want to scroll down also and add it to the position and size. Once we click on this position and size, it will also add every scale width, scale height, and position, every other thing. This means that when we move our keyframe and add another keyframe, it is going to remember that particular position. It's going to change position when we move the keyframe a little bit forward. Now what we are simply going to do is just to move our playhead a little bit forward, then we'll come over to the color section and we add any color that we want. So for this one, I'm going to be adding the red color right here. Now as you can see, it is now showing red. Now I also go to the screen and drag it down a little bit. So now I have changed the color and I at the same time I changed the position, because we have added the keyframe, and when we moved a little bit forward, it added another keyframe. Okay, so when we play it right now, this is what it's going to look like. This will come in, this will come in, then it will go down and become red, as you can see. So this is how it is going to look like. So now what I'm simply going to do is just to repeat the same thing I've done just right now. Let me repeat one so that you guys can understand it very well. What we're simply going to do now is just to first of all come to this color, add the keyframe. Okay, then come to the position and size, add another keyframe. Then you want to drag your playhead a little bit forward, then come over here and change it to any color that you want it to be. I'm going to select green this time around, then I'm going to drag it a little bit down, then if I play it right now, this is how it's going to look like. Come in, go down red, then go down green. As you can see, this is looking amazing. So I'm just going to add just one more and I'm going to be fast with this. Now if I play it right now, this is what we have these right now. Currently it comes down, become green, then become purplish, like purple. So that is how this is going to look like once we add the animation effect. So now the last thing that we are going to be adding is just the sound effect. We need a sound to go along with this and make it pop out very, very well. So now what we're simply going to do is just to come over to audio right here. Now you come over to transitions. Once you click on audio, come over to transitions. Now you have a lot of transition right here, but I'm going to be choosing a particular one, which is the high swishes. Okay, you want to look for high swishes right here. Now we have the high swishes. I'm going to drag it down and drag it down a little bit right here. Then I'm going to adjust it, just a little bit, adjust it like this. So I'm going to play it for you to hear. That's how it looks like currently. Okay, now if you actually go ahead and see this particular position, you want to place it at the particular position where the first one actually comes in. So I'm going to place it at the position of this particular screenshot coming in right here. So if I zoom it in right here for you to see carefully. So I'm going to adjust it a little bit like this, and you can see when it comes in, I'm going to lower the sound a little bit so that then come in. Now I'm going to copy this right here. I'm going to adjust this, then right click, copy, right click again, then paste. Now we have the same one that we have cutted, adjusted a little bit. Now when the text comes in, so this is not coming in a little fast, so I want it to come in a little fast so that it can tally with the sound. So I'm going to come to animation. I'm going to adjust this a little bit forward. Now as you can see right now, this comes in amazingly, and the sound goes well with it. Now the trick I use for my sound is that I can add different sound effect to this. Now what I'm simply going to do is to add a vortex sound and this like techno glitch. I'm going to place this under the techno glitch, then I'm going to add vortex sound also. This combo are very, very amazing. This will sound amazing. So I'm going to drag this. You can see this place is where the sound is actually coming in, so we don't need all this empty one. Just drag it in, then I'm going to drag this currently here, and I'm going to cut it at this particular position. Click on cut, then delete the rest. Now I'm going to drag it for you to to be under exactly. Now I'm going to hear it. As you can see, that sound makes a lot of sense. Now that we have everything, so you just have to check it properly to see whether the sound really tallies. Then you're going to highlight, just drag everything, just like create and highlight these three audios, then right click on any one you want, then create a compound clip. So now we have our custom sound. As you can see, now we are going to copy it and put it at every junction in which our text performs any animation. Now if I play it right now, this is what it's going to look like. As you can see, this is totally mind-blowing and amazing. Now that we have everything all together, that is amazing. Just want to adjust this a little bit for you to see everything much more clearly. Now I'm going to adjust everything to go out amazingly. So we want our outro to be epic also. So now what we're simply going to do is to make sure this text aligns with each other. Okay, make sure they align with each other any way we want them. So now it is aligned with each other. Now we're going to add an outro effect. Click on animation, click on out, then you want to come down and add an outro effect. I'm going to use this wipe down. So this wipe down goes perfectly. Then I'm going to repeat it for this one also. Wipe down, click on that, and as you can see, they both go out at the same time. So now we are going to be adding a particular audio effect that will make this amazing. So we want to come over to our audio effect and we want to select jump and fly away. This jump and fly away, then we want to come down here. Now if you play this jump and fly away, you see that we have two sounds. So the second sound is what we want to use. So I'm going to adjust this a little bit and drag it like this, then adjust this, then place it under this white button where they start. So I'm going to adjust it and I'm going to play it, and as you can see, it goes out to be fast, to be much more faster. I'm going to click on animation and I'm going to adjust it to come out much more faster. So this one also, animation 0.4. So if I play it right now, as you can see, this now makes a whole lot of sense. Now, if we play our video right now, let me play the video for you. That's amazing. So that's exactly how you highlight your text like a pro.
To do this effect, all you simply have to do just to drag the video that you want to use to your timeline. Okay, so you can get this video on Excel or any video that you've shot yourself, and you want to add on to this text icon right here, text, then drag the text onto your timeline. Then you want to make it the length of your video like that, and you want to edit your text. Just come over here, and now that I have text right here, then I'm going to change the font to something like honest big. You can use any font that you want, and I'm just going to adjust the text to wherever I want it. Let's say I want it right here. Let me just put it here like this in front of this man right here. So once you have that ready, then the next thing you want to simply do, highlight both clips together. Highlight both of these clips, then you right click, then you create compound clip. Now that we have the compound clip created, you want to add the media again, the raw footage again onto, you want to drag it as an overlay on top of the video. Now the next thing you're going to simply do, just come over to cut out, then click on auto cut out. Now it is going to cut out the whole video. All right, so now it is done auto cutting. Then if I play this right now, this is what we have. So that's how to create this amazing effect. If you're able to create the effect, make sure you like the video, and also if you have any issue, make sure you drop it in the comment section. I'm going to reply to every of your comments, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. So we have our beautiful timeline right here. So the first thing we want to simply do is to create our circular progress bar. And to do that, it's very, very easy. What you simply have to do is just to come over to the text icon right here, drag the text, the default text onto your timeline. Now that we have the default text on our timeline, what we are simply going to do just to come over to the basic right here, just highlight it and delete it. Then you want to add a dot, that like a full stop. Now the next thing we are going to simply do is just to make this bigger. I want to make sure this is actually big, so not just extremely big. Just come over to the scale right here and maybe like up to like 300%, because we still be, we don't want to use that particular one. We want to use the font size to make it much more bigger. And as you can see, we can use the font size to make it bigger as we can. Okay, now that we have this, you want to drag it to up to like 150. Okay, I think this is okay. Now the next thing we want to simply do, we want to change the color to green. So the reason why we are using the green color is to be able to remove this particular color later on when we use chroma key. You're going to see that very, very soon. Then the next thing we are going to simply do is just to come down a little bit. Then you click on stroke. Once we have turned on our stroke, we have already added a stroke right now, but it is not visible because we have a black background and also the stroke is black. To make your stroke visible, then you want to simply come over here. As you can see, can now select any stroke that we want. I'm going to be going for white in this tutorial. Now it depends on you, whatever you want your progress bar to look like. This is where you start customizing. So I'm just going to show you the default process. I'm going to select a white color as the background. Now you want to click on small arrow right here, and that will expand our stroke for us. Okay, so the next thing we're going to simply do is just to adjust the thickness to make it, like a reasonable progress bar. As you can see, this is now making a whole lot of sense. Assume this green part is the place that we want to put anything. We want to put either a video or a sticker or anything. I'm going to show you how you can put this progress bar around your videos and also around any stickers. Now, this depends on you. Okay, it's up to you. You can make it very, very thin, and you can make it moderate like this. I love to put it at 5. Now that is moderate. Okay, so once we have this is the first step. Now this we want to do is to determine the length of our progress bar. Okay, this is very, very important right here because you won't be able to change it later on. But however, later in this video, I'm still going to show you how to do the impossible, how you can still change the length of your progress bar even after you have done all the work, after you have done all the job. Normally before, you can't be able, this is the only place that you can be able to adjust the length of your circular progress bar. However, I'm going to show you later on in this video how you can adjust it, like how you can save all of this as a preset that you can just bring in and easily adjust the circular progress bar to your videos that you've maybe your video is 2 minutes, you can easily adjust it back to 2 minutes. But let's just follow the due process first. You want to import the video that you want to use. Now I'm going to drag this onto the timeline. Now we have this on the timeline. Okay, so what I'm simply going to do now is just to I don't want to make this long. I want to edit this and I want to delete the rest. Now we have the equal length right here. As you can see, this is like 4 seconds. Now, if you're using the length of your video, it depends on the length of your video or in the sticker that you want to use, or maybe like your image that you want to create the circular progress bar around. So now that we have done that, you want to click on the text. And as you can see right here, once you click on it, we have all these functions right here, but there are still some things that are missing. So to enable more functionalities for us, okay, for us to be able to remove this green part, we just to right click on the text and create a compound clip. Now, if you create a compound clip, you can see now we now have the cutout. You want to click on cutout, then you want to click on chroma key, then you want to click on the color picker, then you want to pick the color green, then you want to adjust the strength so you don't see the green anymore. Now that we have our circular progress bar only ready, we don't need this video anymore. So you're going to delete this one right now. Now, the next thing we're going to simply do is to copy this and paste it on top of it. So to copy, Ctrl C, then to paste, Ctrl V. You just want to drag it for it to fit like this. Now that we have this, what we are simply going to do now is to mask these 2 clips right now. We want to create a mask effect. So for the first one, we are going to be creating for the first one. So you want to disable the second one. To disable, just press V on your keyboard and that is disabled. We have disabled the second one. So you want to click on the first clip right here that is on top, and you want to come over to mask right here. Now you want to click on split, then you want to drag this, you want to click on this rotate button and rotate it to 90 degrees. As you can see, it is now at 90. Then you want to come over to the second one right here and click on V. Then you want to come over to the top one and click on V to disable that for now. Then you want to do the same thing we did for the second one. Also click on the split, and also by this time around you want to make sure you rotate to -90 degrees. Now if I click on the first one right here and click on V, you can see that we now have equal parts. We have the masked, the first one, the second one right here, the first one right here. So what I'm simply going to do is just to drag my playhead over to the first frame of the first clip, and I'm going to make a keyframe on the rotate. As you can see, it's currently at 90 degrees right here on the first keyframe. Now I'm going to drag the playhead onto the last keyframe, onto the last frame of the first clip, and I'm going to add another keyframe to that. Then I'm going to change this particular keyframe to 450 degrees. So this means that this particular one is going to rotate 450 degrees. And once you are done, you want to check this out, like play it, and as you can see, this is how it is going to be playing right now. Come over to the place where this particular where this actually met together, so at this angle. So you want to make sure you want to be on the place where it's in the middle. Okay, I think this is for my own, this is the middle. Okay, now once you select the middle, as you can see, this is still 269. This is another trick you can use to get the middle. Once it is saying 270 degrees, okay, now it is at the center. This is at the middle right now. Then you want to come over to the down one, bring down your bleed tool by typing B, and as you can see, then you want to cut that out, and you want to type A to bring out your normal cursor out. Then you want to delete that one. Now this is what we have right now. So the next thing you're going to simply do right now is just to come over to the text icon right here, then add another default text, then drag the text over here. Make sure you drag your text over here. Then the next thing I'm going to simply do is just to adjust it so that it tallies with the first one right here. Now the next thing I'm going to simply do is just to click on this default text and select capital letter O. Now that we have that, all we are simply going to do is just to drag this letter O till it come over to the font size and still increase it till it covers that white one. Then you want to drag it down a little bit. Then the next thing I'm going to simply do is just select the color and change the color to green. Now, as you can see, there is no whitish, nothing is showing right here. You want to make sure that nothing is showing there. Okay, now once we have done this, we want to make compound clip of it. Then right click on it and create a compound clip. Now that we have a compound clip, as you can see right here, drag it to this second one right here. Now, next thing we are going to simply do, if you play it, this is what you still have right now. Now, the next thing we are going to simply do, so you just to come to your browser and type download green image.
Yeah.
Now you want to download any green image that you see here. All we need is just the green image. And once you are done downloading, just come over to the media and import the green that you've downloaded. Then I'm just import this one right now, then drag it over to the timeline. Just any green image, and you want to make it to the length of every other clip that is there. Then if you play this right now, currently, this is how it will look like currently. Now, the next thing we're going to do is just to come over to this green image right now and click on V to disable it for now. Then you want to come over to the compound clip and then come over to this split right here. Click on split and make sure you adjust it back to angle 90 degree. Okay, make it at 90 degree, and that is okay. So you want to come down again and press V to enable that. And if you play it right now, this is what you have. Okay, so we have the playhead coming in right now. So the next we are going to simply do is just to export this right now. Okay, I'm going to click on export. Now you can name this as circular so that you can easily remember. Let me just say circular. Now you can leave this resolution at 4K. It's okay. Then you can leave the frame rate also as 60p. You want to click on export. Once you are done exporting, you want to click on this open folder to locate where your video is. So this is the circle that I have just created right now. Click on this cancel right here. Now what I'm simply going to do is just to delete all of these. I don't need any of these right now again. So what I'm simply going to do now is just to come over to this file, then the video that I want to import. Then I'm just going to drag this particular circle right here onto the timeline. Then I'm going to drag it over to the timeline itself. Now we have this right now. If you notice the edge is still showing black, so you want to crop that out. Now you want to crop that out and simply come over here, do that, come over to this side also, and adjust that. Then you click on confirm and you want to drag it to fit the screen. Now that we have our playhead right now, it's still looking awesome. Now that we have our playhead right now, the next thing we're going to simply do is just to come over to the cutout and click on chroma key. Then you add another cutout. Then you click on the green color. Then you make this trend till it disappears. Now this is our playhead currently right now. Now the next thing we want to add is the effect. We want to add the effect that will make it much more smoother and much more cooler. What you are simply going to do to achieve that is just to right click on this, then copy, and right click again and paste. Then you want to drag this over to that place. Then you want to come over to the head of this particular one, click on V to disable the first one for now. Then you want to come over to this one, to the first frame right here, and click on this freeze icon that is here. So you want to click on freeze, and it's going to freeze like the first 30 seconds of the frame. You want to delete the other one that is here, and you want to drag this one and adjust it till it's aligning with this particular one. Now that we have these, we want to come over to the basics right here and scroll down a little bit till we see opacity. Then you want to adjust the opacity a little bit. All right, so that is that. Then what we're simply going to do now, if you want to enable this clip again by pressing V, and if you play it, you play your clip right now, it will look something like this. As you can see, this is totally amazing. Now, this is another trick that you can do if you want to make this anti-clockwise. So all you're simply going to do is just to come over to the first clip and click on reverse. Now now the reverse has completed. Now if you play it right now, you can see it is now going into the opposite direction. Now I promise to show you guys one particular trick that I'm currently using. So what you're simply going to do is just to add this particular green image back to the clip again. I want to take the freeze frame at the bottom, so you want to drag it there like that. So now we have these right now. So if you play this is what we have right now. Because if you actually want to continue using this for any of the project that you want to be using, then you want to follow this step right here. Once you finish adding the green image, then you want to make sure it tallies with every other thing. Then you want to export it again. Okay, by this time right now, you can click on main circle right now. You can name it main circle so that you won't be confused. Then you want to click on export. So once you are done exporting, just click on open folder. Now we have the main circle right here. So you want to cancel this, and you want to delete all of these. We don't need every of this again. Then we want to come over to this particular one and import this. Drag this over here, and the down one is always the video one, the top one is the audio. So just come over here and drag this to this. Now we have this effect right now. So this is the one that we created first. Now this one is the main one that we needed. So you want to drag this onto your timeline. Then you want to drag any video that you want to actually use to edit your video. Now to repeat the effect that I created in the beginning of this video, I'm just going to click on import, click on that, and I'm going to drag it on over to my timeline right now. I'm going to make sure it's at the timeline. So now we have a black, you can actually see this paper black background on Pixabay or pexels.com. Okay, so then now what we are simply going to do is just to click on cutout, click on chroma key. You want to click on chroma key, click on color picker, then click on the green color, then you adjust the intensity until it is no more visible. Now if we drag the strength up to like 90, we won't be seeing any green, and also the effect that we created, it has disappeared with it. So another trick I do use for this one is to drag it a little bit like this. So to drag it a little bit like this till the green is still showing a little bit. Now this is what I want to have. Then the next thing I'm going to do is just to come over to the adjustment layer right here. Then I'm just going to go down and increase the brightness till it is all white out. Now what I'm simply going to do is just to come over to the saturation right here and drag it till it is no more visible. So as you can see, we now have everything all white right now, so that the effect can easily come in. So if I decrease the brightness a little bit, as you can see now, the whitish color is now coming out now again. Also, I want to come down to this illumination and lower it a little bit. Now as you can see, we now have the previous effect that we did. If I play this right now, this is what it will be showing right now. We now have our beautiful playhead right now. So now I'm going to show you guys how you can add this playhead to any of your videos or to any stickers or any images that you want to be using. So now what I'm simply going to do is just to bring out one of my videos right now, and I'm simply going to drag this particular video of mine that I'm talking right here, and I'm going to come over here and split this particular one. I don't need it. Then I'm going to delete this. Now to make this a circular video, what I'm simply going to do is just to come over to the video right now, then click on mask, then I'm going to select circle. Now that I'm selecting circle, I'm just going to drag this and adjust it at the edges. Don't want to break the circle, so I'm just going to adjust it at the edges right now. Now that I have this right here, what I'm simply going to do is just to duplicate this. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to make a duplicate, paste it around it. I'm going to place it in the same part. Now what I'm simply going to do is just to adjust this particular video, the one that I added right now, till it's fits onto the circle. Then I want to reduce the main video. There's still a black stuff following us around. I don't know, let me just crop it right now. I'm just going to crop this a little bit right here. Then I'm going to crop this also. Now click on confirm. Now that we have that, we want to make sure this, we want to make this a little bit smaller so that we can be able to edit that properly. So I'm going to click on this particular one right here and just place it around it. If I take this video, I'm going to show you how you can see this is now on our play head right now. It is so amazing. Now you can repeat this for any images that you might have. So you want to click, just import the images. I'm going to use the same Capcut that I used earlier. So I'm going to drag this onto the timeline. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to, crop it out a little bit. Then you want to come over to mask again, click on circle, make it a circle. Then that. Then I'm going to, copy this again, copy, then click on paste. Then I'm going to, drag it down a little bit. I'm going to drag it down a little bit. Then I'm going to adjust it till it fits with my video, with it fits with the image. Now, don't forget to group every of your videos. Once I have this right now, what I'm simply going to do is just to highlight these two together. Then I'm going to make a compound clip of it, or you can easily just group it so that you can be able to move them all around wherever you want to move them. You can see everything is now going to each other. You can easily adjust it to anywhere you want to adjust it. You can add animations to it for it to come in. All right, you want it to come in anyhow, you can easily add animation to it. As you can see, it is now making a whole lot of senses. Now for this one also, any images or any stickers or any logos that you want to be talking about, and you can place it anywhere on the screen. You are going to just click on Ctrl G to group it together. Then you can drag it to any part of the screen that you want. Now the last part is for us to adjust the color. If you want to be changing the color of this, then you want to come back again, right click on it and click on undo compound clip. Now you want to click on the main circle right here. You want to come over to adjustments. Then in this adjustment layer is where you can easily change the colors of your circle. So you can go over with this and change it to anything you want. You can see this. You can see this can change any color that you want. Now if you are talking, now there's a particular trick that I'm going to be giving you guys as a bonus. So if you want your colors to be changing while it is still going like this, so what I'm simply going to do is just to add a keyframe right here. So we want to make sure you come over to the adjustment, then you want to add a keyframe right there. Then you want to drag it a little bit forward, okay? Then add another keyframe on the adjustment. Now if I adjust this a little bit forward now, okay, and I play it right now, so it starts from the white. I'm going to be showing you how you can blow out. As you can see, that's it ended with this particular. So that is that about circular progress bars. Now I'm going to be showing you how you can easily go about the horizontal progress bar. This one is the easiest, so I'm just going to delete all of these right now. So now to add your horizontal progress bar, all you simply have to do is just to come over to the text, then click on default text and drag it down a little bit and drag it down over here. Then what you're simply going to do is just to come over here and type in dash 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 lots. You can type in another dash to make it like that. Then you want to come over here and make it bold. Then come over here to the character and select -2. Now that we have it at minus, you can see this, you can expand it a little bit. Then you want to come down and select this particular preset style. As you can see, we are getting there already. So then the next thing you want to do is just to come over to the stroke. Now you can adjust the stroke depending on you. You can adjust the stroke however you want it. Now, once we have this like this, the next thing we are going to simply do is to come over to this particular one. Then we want to duplicate, right click and copy, right click and paste again on top of it. Now, for the first one that is on top, we want to disable the stroke for it. So we want to disable the stroke. Then we want to add the color that we want it to be showing whenever it is coming through. Okay, so the next thing we are going to simply do is just to add a color right here. So I'm going to add, let me say, red color for now. So that now that we have our progress bar ready, the next thing is for us to animate it. We want to click on animation right here. Then you want to find a particular animation that says wipe out. Okay, so wipe out effect actually goes very, very well with this particular stuff. It's called wipe right. So I'm going to select wipe right. Now, as you can see, this is now making sense. Now, the more you adjust this, the more it comes in slowly. It depends on you. Okay, the more you adjust it, the more it comes in. Now that we have done that, another trick that I want to show you guys is that you can actually turn this into green while it is coming in. But the same trick is what we used in the circular one. So I'm just going to repeat it for you guys. To do that, what we're simply going to do is just to click on the first clip right here. So you want to make sure you want to make a keyframe on the color right here. So we want to make sure when it is at the middle, it turns into maybe like a yellowish, then at the end it turns into green. Now we want to simply make a keyframe on color right here. Then we want to drag it a little bit forward. Then we want to click on the keyframe again, then make it yellow right here. Now that at the end, closing in at the end, we want to just add another keyframe on color, then drag it a little bit forward, then come and add another keyframe on color, then drag it down. Then we want to select green at the end. Now if you play this right now, this is what you have. Turns yellow then green, as you can see. So this is how you can easily go ahead with any progress bar and make your video stand out. If you actually got value from this video, please go ahead right now and like this video. Also comment your thoughts and every question that you might have, maybe any difficulties you are facing. Just comment in the comment section. I'm going to be responding to all of your comments. If you are not subscribed yet, you want to make sure you are subscribed, because more valuable contents like this will be dropping back to back on this channel. I remain the mayor of Mayor Concept, and I'll see you in the next one.